Hey everyone, welcome back to Headgear Garage. On today's episode, our project is going to be modifying or kind of correcting an issue we found with a game hoist that the guys over at Heirloom Outdoors use as they're out hunting. It's a pretty simple project. I'll show you what the issue is and then we'll get started. So what we have, get back here, we can see what's going on. We have this game hoist. It's the style that you just mount to like any receiver hitch on whatever you have, trucks, like I have it on my tractor bucket right now, just mocking it up, getting it at a comfortable working height. But what the issue was, is I have the bearing pulled out of the bottom so I can weld. But there's a bearing down here, and then there's a bearing at the top, and then they have a sleeve between the two, just to keep them spaced properly. But the issue is you can see if you look at it, maybe not, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, and I have it bolted down tight right here, but they, when they're out there, didn't bolt this down. So when they were using it and they had their game harnessed on here and they pulled down on that game, it ended up with all the leverage they have here on this tall system. It gave them a lot of leverage. It ended up, there's probably about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little larger pin inside of here, and that rides inside the bearings, and that actually ends up bending. And what we're going to try is, and I'm going to have to level this up a little bit, but what we're going to try is matching this tab on the opposite side and then giving them a way to actually fasten those items tight in the field without needing tools, or they don't want to have wrenches or anything like that out there. Not really sure yet exactly how we're going to do that, but I'm going to figure out something and try to keep it as simple as possible. So let's get started. Okay. All right. So this is the part we're talking about. I had that heated up. I actually started doing this and forgot to hit the record on the camera, so we had to kind of start over. But this pin right here was the one that was bent. It's still bent, but not nearly. I'm trying to get an angle. It's really not bad now. I heated it up and worked on it quite a bit. Yeah, I had to let it sit to cool so you could actually touch it, but trying to find a spot. Maybe you can see it. Camera. Yeah, you can kind of see, like, if you look down this far edge here, you can kind of see it's still got a little bit of a smile to it, but as built fine. The problem they're running into is on the other part over here, which I'll show you in a minute, which caused this pin to bend, because with the length of it, they get a lot of leverage and a lot of pull down on it. Let's take you over here. Let's take a look at that real quick. So it's sitting here, it's upside down, but as you can see, this piece right here would be up in the air, and we'll mock it up here in a minute and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It'd be up in the air and you've got the cable that goes up and hooks into the crank, the pulley system on it. But here's where our issue is, and I've already pulled the bearing out of this. There's 2 bearings in here. There's one down inside, which it's so deep, and it's fine. It's not major or anything, so we're going to leave it in there. Then there's a spacer that goes in here, and then a second bearing sits in here, and then a retainer ring. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and match, basically just simple, match this tab on this side, and then we'll figure out some way to, in the field, that they can quickly bolt basically those 2 things together without any real tools, some way to do that. And we'll kind of get to that down the road. I haven't really figured out exactly what we're going to do there, but when we do that, that'll prevent this thing from swinging back and forth on them when they're, right now what's happening is this thing has just enough play in it between this mount and the hitch over there that it gives them the chance to torque on it too much. So I figure if we can clamp both pieces together. So you saw that one had a tab that you can hook down through this, and we just want to put another tab on the other side that we can hook down through this so that they can't pull it this way, because that's what happened. It was the tabs on this side of it, they were pulling, and it was causing this to go this way. So we're trying to prevent that in the future, and I don't see a need to go there, to go here or here. I mean, just 2 tabs. They're only going to be pulling this way with it, not this way or that way really so much. But if it becomes an issue, we'll bring it back in and we'll put a tab on all 4 sides and really sturdy it up. This project just so you're aware, is actually for the group of boys out there over at Heirloom Outdoors. If you get a chance, check out their channel. If you get a chance, check them out. But let me get set up here. We'll get another shot of this thing as I have it kind of assembled, and then we'll get a better idea of what we're talking about. So stand by. All right, well, first things third, or I don't know, I was never good at history. We're going to take this. I got a piece of metal clamped onto the side here that I'm going to use as my tab for on here. But the first thing I want to do is kind of take it and kind of make just a little notch in it so that it'll fit onto the tubing a little tighter. So I'm going to go ahead and try. I think that's a pretty good fit. Let me know what you think. Just set up here where you can see what's going on. See that? That looks close enough for me. Good enough for you? All right. Bring it back over here. Get set up for a, got to kind of turn things around here so we get a little better position to weld in. Disclaimer right out the gate, I am by no means a welder. I'm more of a hot glue it with metal and then grind and paint kind of guy. So. All right, Again, not a welder, but she's tacked on there. She should hold. I'm going to unbolt it. What I did here was I put some spacers in just to try to keep it a little more level across. So I knew I had my line up pretty good here. Now I can mark a hole from the bottom up so I know where to drill. But I'm going to unbolt it, flip this thing over, and weld the bottom side up, tack it on a little better just to make sure. So I know these fellows are going to be hard on it. So she's welded on. We're going to get her back over there, get her mounted back up to the other part of it, get her lined up, and then mark for our hole, drill our hole in it, and then we're going to try to, I think I came up with an idea for mounting it out in the field for them. This won't be too bad. Probably going to end up using a wrench, but I'll probably make a mount to mount on the side of this thing that'll hold the wrench, and maybe a small length of cable or something so they don't lose it out there. But all right, let's see what we got. Let's get her set back up. All right, that's off there, put it back in the vise. Find our center based on those marks. Drill a hole. All right, good center mark out. Close enough. Never got these in here. Come See if she lines up. See how we did. Okay. All right, so I think the plan is, not sure I have one. Now, I think what we're gonna do is I'll just tweak these around here, get them lined up pretty decent. Pretty good now. Looks like, yeah. Get them tightened down, lined up, and once I tighten them down, I think I'll just weld the nuts onto the bottom, onto this section here, on this big heavy flange. And then, might make a spacer to sit on top. Just use a larger nut. Nah, I don't think I'll bother with that. We're gonna get these on here. We'll weld the nuts onto the bottom. Yeah, you know what? Looks like I'm gonna shut you down for a minute, and we're gonna put a battery in because this one's about done. Stand by. Bring you right back. All right, you're back. That didn't take too long. Only a couple seconds. All right. So we can get this on here. All right, so got her back over here. Got her back over here on the tractor, and I just installed the bearing. Sorry about that. Just installed the bearing back in here. I actually forgot to hit the record button, so I just put this sleeve and bearing back in. It was pretty corroded, so when I took it out, I tore it apart and kind of repacked it. It's not perfect, but for what it is, it's not like you're whizzing down the highway on it, that kind of bearing. So now what I'm working on is I have the little clip for it that There we go. Right on there. Oh, it's not good. It's gonna work. Back up, next size up, just to give it a little play. And we should be good. So get a drill bit right up. Tap out here. I'm going to chase this thread on this one. That feels a little tight. Hold on. Yeah. That was easy. Make ours. And breathe. Done. Butter. Now, that's charm on that. Wait. Don't actually do that. I'm telling you, on. The old Popular Mechanics. Perfect. And, oh, that's got the old. Down here a little closer to us. Definitely don't need that. Well, that was harder than I expected. Plus it also gives it a chance to, something they couldn't do before, it's hold it in place. Okay. Throw a little paint on that, call that a wrap. But it was fun. It was fun doing a project for the guys at Heirloom Outdoors. As I said, if you're into hunting, please check them out. Watch a few videos. Hopefully you enjoy them. All right, see you on the next one.